you play it now.
How are you?
Not very good, I'm afraid. I've got a problem, a real problem, and I'm getting really stressed about it.
It doesn't sound good. Tell me what the problem is.
Well, I've got this report to write, and it's got to be done by next Friday. And I put some time aside to do it, but I just haven't managed to get round to doing it. There's so much going on at the moment. I've been doing lots of trainings, I've got lots of meetings, and it just isn't time. And well, now, because next week's so busy, I can't see how I'm even going to get this report done.
How big is this report?
Well, it's going to be it's going to take about half a day to do. It's about 9 to 10 pages.
Right, okay. So just clarify for me exactly what has to be done by when?
Right, so I've got a 9 to 10 page report that's going to take about half a day to do, and it has to be done by a week on Friday.
Okay, so that sounds quite a lot considering what you've got on. Just tell me a bit about how your week is at the moment. What's going on for you?
It's crazy. I've got Monday and Tuesday, I'm out doing team building with groups of people all over the place. Wednesday, I've got a meeting in Barnstable in the morning, in Tiverton in the afternoon. So that means I don't even get into the office until Thursday. And then, of course, when I get in there, I'll have all my emails and my phone calls and things to do. Plus, my line manager wants to see me. So I can't even see myself getting this started until Thursday afternoon at the very earliest. And that's too late. I'm going to be so stressed.
It does sound pretty tight for time, I have to say.
It is.
Okay, so why don't we just think about all the possible options of ways that you could potentially achieve this. Now, it could be crazy options, okay? It doesn't mean you have to follow through with all of them. We just want to get all of the different possibilities out on the table. So start off by telling me, what are the things that you could do to get this done?
Well, I suppose I could not do the report. That would be nice.
Okay.
I don't think that would go down very well, though.
Right. What else?
Well, I suppose I could ask my boss to put back the deadline. And again, I don't think that would look very good.
Okay, so put back the deadline. I'm just going to note them down as we go through. Okay.
Okay. What else could I do? Okay, I've got the meetings on Wednesday. I could either cancel one, or I could see if I could get somebody to cover for me. In fact, my colleague might be able to cover for me on the one in the afternoon in Tiverton. Yeah,
Okay.
that might be possible.
So you could cancel a meeting or get your colleague to cover.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else could you do?
Well, I suppose I could get somebody else to write the report for me.
Yeah.
But by the time I explained it to the person and shown them what to do, I probably could have done it myself in the first place. I'm not sure that would really be much use to me.
No, okay, but an option, so you could get someone else to write it.
Yeah.
Okay. One more?
One more. I could take the report home and do it in the evening, but actually that wouldn't be very popular with my family because I've made a commitment not to do that anymore.
Okay.
But I could do that.
So as an option, it's possible you could take the report home to do in the evening. Okay. So I'm just going to go back over some of the options you've come up with and summarise them back again. Okay. So you could not do the report at all. All right.
Yeah.
You could get someone else to write it for you. You could ask your boss to extend the deadline, possibly.
Yeah.
You could maybe cancel your meeting on Wednesday afternoon or get your colleague to cover for you, which would give you some time. And then there is the option of taking it home, but obviously that affects your work-life balance and isn't good for you and your family. So out of those options, which one seems the most realistic for you to take forwards?
I quite like the idea of cancelling or getting my colleague to stand in for me on my meeting on Wednesday afternoon, because if I did that, that would mean I'd start the report a day earlier, and then if I didn't get it finished, then I'd have the next day to finish it, so there'd be a lot less stress there. So actually I like that one best, I think.
Okay, so that sounds all possible. So just as a contingency though, what would happen if your colleague wasn't able to cover? What could you do?
I don't know, I suppose I'd have to do it on the Thursday then, and I'd just have to make sure that there weren't any distractions and that, you know, I could just get on with it.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least likely it's going to happen, and 10 being you're absolutely going to go ahead with the action you've come up with, whereabouts are you?
I think I'm about 7.
A 7. Okay, 7's good, but what would need to happen to make it a 10 so that you'd be definite?
Don't know really. I suppose if we agreed that I could tell you when I've done it, then that would definitely make me do it, because I would know then I had to do it.
Okay, so having someone accountable.
Yeah.
And you'd like me to do that.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
No, okay, that's fine. So you can give me a call and let me know exactly when you need to have taken that action.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about getting the report done now?
Really good, actually. I hadn't thought of those possibilities, and it all seemed too much, and now it seems a lot simpler. It's clarified it for me. It feels as if I can do it, so thank you very much.
Brilliant, no, it's my pleasure. Okay, so we better start to think about getting another date in the diary.
Okay.
And you letting me know when you'll be able to get in touch with me to let me know you've done that.
Yeah, I should be able to do that actually after this. And
Okay, so all of you could watch, right? Just finish watching the video, no problem, right? So are you clear about the framework itself, GROW? Okay, so if it's okay, then it's your turn to practice it. So I'm going to make 2 breakout rooms, okay? And then assign randomly, and Sue, you'll be the observer since you're under the weather. And before that, I would like to share with you some of the powerful questions, okay, so that you can use these powerful questions in this GROW model, okay? Hang on, you can see it, right? So this is some of the powerful questions for under this GROW model, okay? So say, for example, when they come to G, okay, so you can ask them this question like, where do you see yourself a year from now? Especially the session is about one's development, like in a talent development program, you might want to use a coaching session to help them to come up with their own goal. Maybe in 2 years or 3 years time, which can also something that they can work on in their management development program. So where do you see yourself in a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 6 months from now? What would you have wanted to achieve? Or in the long term, what is your goal related to this issue? What's the time frame? Or what immediate steps can you identify, and what's their time frame? And what is it that you want to achieve? And how will you know that your team member achieved this goal? So all these questions related to goal, but of course there will be a lot, and all this only for your reference, and also depends on the context itself. Okay, and then next will be question about reality. Some of the questions for your reference. What's happening at the moment? Describe your day. What's happening now? Have you already taken any steps towards your goal? Does this goal conflict with the other goals or objectives? What control do you have? What action have you taken so far? How much influence do you personally have over the outcome? What and how great is concern about? What has stopped you doing this before? What resources do you really have? So just to have this kind of question, help the coachee to tell you to think of the current situation. A lot of times, why do we think that answers are within the coachee? Because sometimes they are stuck. Powerful questions help them to seek clarity. They know if if somehow their concerns are clarified, they know what to do. But a lot of time they are stuck. That's why using these questions for them to know what do they want, to help them to know, to help them clarify what is being stuck in this issue, in their thinking process. Okay, so that's why as a coach, we help them come up with options, action, but not us to tell them. And then I don't know where to go on this. Where would you go? Okay, all these kind of questions that for reference, when you want to help the coachee find out the current situation. First one is options or obstacles. What are the different ways in which you could approach this issue? Tell me 5 things you may be able to do to solve this issue. What else could you do? What would you do if you had more time, larger budget, or if you were the boss? A lot of time, when I talk to people, what are the options do you have? They will say that, no, I think there's only one. And then I find this question is very powerful when I ask them to count more options. This question, options. This question is, if your friend has the same issue, what would your advice for them? Then they'll think, oh, if my friends have the same issue, then I would suggest this, and that. A lot of times they will be able to cover more options. Because if they sit at their own desk, they are stuck. They can't think of anything. But if your friends has the same issue, what your advice would be for them? Then they will think from another angle. Then a lot of times they will be able to come up with a few options. So try this out next time, okay? Because they have the answers, but they are stuck. That's the thing, okay? And also all these are the powerful questions for options. And of course, this is way forward action plan. Which of the options highlighted are you prepared to take action on? Like among all the options, which one serve you the best? In what way do you meet the objective? What are you going to do? What will your action really meet your goal? And then what support do you need? What other considerations do you have? And then once the coach has come with the action plan, then the coach will further ask them, on a scale of 1 to 10, what degree of certainty do you have that will carry out the action agreed? In the video, the lady says 7, right? Then what has held her back for you to have 100% commitment? And then the lady came up with a suggestion like, maybe you call me up on a certain day so that I'll make sure that I do it, that kind of stuff. So as a coach, we have to make sure that try to give support to the coachee to take action on the plan that they have developed. Okay? So that's why we said that follow-up, support and follow-up is the role of the coach. And also, they also want to make the coach accountable for that. Call them on a certain day to find out the status. Okay? So all these, actually, I put all these questions, all these powerful questions on the shared drive. If you have the access to the link, actually, you can take out all these files right away. Okay? So now is the time for you to practice what you have learned about this role model. So I'll open up 2 breakout rooms, and then one will be the coachee and the other is the coach. And then the session with the room with Sue. Sue is the observer. Okay. So I think so everyone has finished their session. I know P and Alan has finished this. How about Charu and Michael? Have you finished your session?
I was just, explaining in detail, but it's okay. I think you
Carry on. Yeah, go ahead to carry on so that all of us can listen. No problem. Michael,
no, it's
carry on.
okay. So I think we are also waiting for your guidance on how we can do it better.
Okay. Good. Okay. Thank you, Michael, for being understandable. Okay, so let's have a brief sharing on what you on the exercise that we just did. Okay, maybe start with Alan's team because I know that your team has finished it 5 minutes earlier, right? So Alan or P, you like to share about your comments about the practice? Maybe Alan share first. You have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. So yeah, I am the coachee and T was the coach. So at first we identified the problem, what the issue that we're gonna discuss. So it's about the subordinate not happy with the performance review of the boss. So that was the problem I gave T. So yeah, and then we discussed it, and yeah, my coach gave me some points. At the end, what we just identified that what we missed is building rapport. So if I got to say hi, how are you? How have you been doing? So we dealt directly with the problem.
Yeah, very good. I think, Ellen is very true. Especially when we talk about building relationship and being trust, right? It all needs to take time. But in the first session, building rapport is also very important. I think, say for example, Ellen just mentioned about introduction of each other, or maybe we can do some ice breaking. Say for example, ice breaking, saying that just tell us as many hobbies that you have, things like that, so that you know the person better. Yeah, that's very true. Building rapport, knowing more about the coachee, and also knowing more about the coach will really make our distance closer. A lot of times, I'm not sure you also share the same feelings that in a company context, you only know about everything related to business. How much do you know about your employees? Or how much do you know about your peers? If your employee really lets you know more about them, their personal life, I think you stand a better relationship with them. Okay, so for me, I also love to know about their life, especially be approachable, and then when they are sick, just to ask them how do they feel, any support from the company and so forth. So if we can go beyond our business life, I think you stand a higher chance of getting more rapport, more relationship with different levels of people. How about P?
Yeah, okay. So for the practice, I was a coach. I was a coach, and I asked Alan about her feeling about the performance reviews, and she was not happy. And I found the reality that why she was not happy, and her expectation about the performance reviews. And then I asked her to give some option, and then I asked some option. Her option is that she want to the boss make more clearly and the reason why give her the low score. And then I also add more one option that I will have her in the peer review, that the people who work with her in the team, so that we had the compare to the boss review and the other review, the peer review, so we can be fair with her performance review. Yeah, that's what our solution. Yeah.
Thank you, P. I think when it comes to performance review, a lot of times it's the measurement which are not clear. I had a coaching session with a HR manager in Taiwan last week, and she mentioned to me something about performance issues, and the manager thinks that his subordinate does not do a good job, but his subordinate thought that I've been here for 10 years and I've been doing a great job. Why do you think that I'm not doing a good job? Or just this year, or it happens over the over 10 years. So I think it's the measurements that they have not been agreed upon at the beginning. If I think it's clear that, okay, now because he is in the quality department, and then his job is to measure the quality side of the instruments and so forth. If they come up the agreed measurement on the performance, that will really eliminate this kind of different level standard. I think you do a good job. He thinks he may not be a good job, but a lot of things if you're the sales department, it's easy for you to set objectives, right? Targets. Oh, it's clear related to your sales revenue and so forth. When it comes to human resources, how can you measure it? I think it's a lot of ways to measure, like in the recruitment, you can measure the number of talents that they've brought in, the quality of the talent, the time they have taken to finish the whole process, this and that. But sometimes it may not be really related to human resources, like the time that the interview process take. Actually, the human resources department work in conjunction with the user department, right? So, but if the course is because of the user department, then they will need to sit together, user department, the department head, just to review the situation, or maybe use the coaching skills, right? Review the situation, and then our goal is to shorten the interviewing time, the process. So we sit together, review the current situation, and then come up with the options, even action plan. We can always adopt this kind of skills in all aspects. So even when it comes to performance, measuring the performance and whether, and then go to the departments to sit together to review the situation. It all helps in having both parties on the same page. Yeah. So thanks, Keith, to help me remember about the measurements, because I always believe it's the measurement that makes a lot of argument or even disputes about why you think I'm not doing well. I think I'm doing a good job, but the manager doesn't think so. Yeah, thank you. About Charu and Pete and Michael. So maybe Charu, you share first about your the feelings and the comments on this practice, on this exercise.
Okay, so for us, right, I'm the coachee. Yeah, the one with the problem. So our problem raised was actually about the communication issues between two team members in itself, and then over like some arguments on some work issues, and then the current status is that it has been avoiding some kind of communications, and then impeding the work results and collaborations and everything. So I think the session was well where I think Michael tried to actually probe further on asking some of the questions on what have we tried, things like that, and providing some kind of advice. But I especially like the portion about wanting the coachee to actually reflect that he or she also have some part to play in these so-called communication or relationship repairing portion. But just that I still have that questions on how do we make the coachee realize that it's not the other party only. Yeah.
Then did you have this question for Michael? Did you have this question for Michael? Not yet, right? Okay.
Not yet.
I think it all depends on the question that you ask. Maybe you just ask the coachee, what has made this situation? Why would we have this problem? What do you think the root cause? What is the root cause? let the coachee tell you what he thinks. Because a lot of the times, I think this is the human nature that this is not my problem. It's the other people's problem, not my problem. But when you try to talk to him, elaborate, okay, so what has caused this problem? Then sometimes he cannot escape. If he is the problem, then he'll tell, oh, okay, because I've done this, that's why it has caused these consequences. Sometimes he could not escape. So it all depends on how you ask that question. If your first question is, assuming that you made it, what would you do? So assume, right? He says, assume that it's not my fault, then I will do, right? But if your question is, what do you think the root cause is? Then he will just say, he will try to think the root cause is this and that. Then he might admit that this is part of the cause. So it all goes back to the question that you ask. So you are not judgmental at the beginning we talked about, right? Not to be judgmental. We don't think, okay, you are the problem. No. Through question, let him realize that he's the problem. Instead of you telling him that. Right? So Michael, so any other comments, Charu?
No.
Okay, good. Michael, what is your comments, feelings for being a coach in this exercise?
Yeah, it was not an easy situation because it involved a person as well. So like what I told Charu, so in this kind of conflict, right, it is good for the one party before when you want to confront the people, you must always admit, I think the situation was not well. I think I also got triggered. You admit your fault, and then you start talking, asking, as what you said just now, asking how would things be better, would be better, how can things be better, so that he can say, oh, this should have happened. And during this conversation he can also admit what his faults are, so probably he also can reflect, oh, I also should have remain patient and things like that. So that's my comment. Maybe.
Yeah, I really love the word reflection.
Yep.
If someone does not reflect, they will never think that he or she is the problem. But what has prompted the person to reflect is your question, your powerful questions.
Yes. Another thing that Charu was asking me, but I couldn't answer. Probably you can give a better answer because I was still thinking on what to answer as well. How would Charu? What was your last question? Probably you can type before the breakout room ended. You were asking one question regarding.
Where do we stop?
Yeah.
Huh?
The question just split out. Just move away from my mind just now. It's okay.
Yeah, no worries. If you still have questions, you can always ask in the chat group or whatever. You text me or whatever. Okay, I'm more than happy to answer any question. It's experience sharing. Okay.
Yeah.
So, any questions in regards to the?
Oh, she was asking. Sorry. She was asking how can we, in this situation, this is the business leader who comes in and says, oh, my people got this problem. This is how we as a HR, right, can actually advise this business leader. How can we make him reflect? Because given that he's a business leader, he probably is, couple of stages higher than you and all that, right? A couple of grades higher than you. So how can we make him reflect? Because most of the times his subordinates could be like 2 or 3 grades lower than him, and this guy could be like heading the entire department, right? So it's not easy to make them reflect. So that was Charu's question. I was not able to answer that during the conversation ended. Probably you can give a more perspective, and we can just have Chris one.
Okay, before I give my perspective, P, what do you think? What sort of question? Your question was, right, Michael? What sort of, how do we as HR, right? How do we make the senior management reflect?
Yeah.
Right? So P, what is your advice?
No idea now.
Okay, Alan?
I think maybe like, yeah, it's kind of difficult, especially if a person is higher, then usually because they have a wide range of experience and knowledge already. Position is sometimes it's difficult because there are those who are actually defensive, because there's those who are defensive. They would think, okay, it's actually the fault of the subordinate, or it's actually like that, something like listening. So usually what I advise sometimes, those who are really willing to listen, sometimes is like, so did you because I'm a firm believer of one-on-ones. It's like, have you asked him how he is, this person? Did you have a regular check-in with this person? Did you ask him about what are the things that they're working on, and then what are their challenges where they're not able to achieve this, or why is this person being difficult with you? Is there something that you talked before that and then you forgot? Something like that. It's like a one-on-one. It's like a check-in with that person. Yeah, and then something like that, just to meet the person really. One-on-ones, or that's how.
Yeah, I think for this senior management, right? I think it applies to everyone, not just senior management. We cannot be judgmental, meaning that, oh, I think you're wrong. Even to your peer, to your subordinates, you can't say that. I would rather use question like, what has caused this problem? What role would you play in this scenario? Let him think, oh, maybe I'm the one who has caused this problem. Then, okay, next time my role would be this, and that. So we just ask him what role he will play in rectifying the situation. Then he will tell you that, oh, this is something I would do, Instead, he will not tell you that, oh, I did it wrong. Unless that leader is open-minded. We have leaders have different characters. Then I would rather use this kind of questions to let him reflect why this problem has caused and what role are you playing to rectify the situation. Then he would dig into the course and then come up with his own solution. Yeah. So other advice, other comments like Charu or Michael? Anything? Anything to share?
Anyway, so how many percentage of the times that we can get them? How if they still say, I've done this, but it's still, it's not still happening, and he still complain about the other person.
Oh, okay. At the end of the day, it's the character of the leader. If the leader always think that he's right, there's no way that you can change him. Let me share with you. I have worked for a company owned by an Englander for 3 years. Okay? He is very autocratic.
Okay.
Extremely autocratic. What he thinks, what he do is right. What you think, what you do is wrong. He's the one who really, he's the owner of the company. That means he's not employed. Okay? He uses his own money to hire you. Okay? It's a typical owner. And so he always have the mindset like this. You are an employee. That means I'm more intelligent than you because I'm your boss. Okay? What I tell you, you have to listen. You tell me, it's my choice whether I'll listen or not. So there's no way that he will say sorry. He'll never say sorry. And he's very rich because he's just saying that I'm rich because I'm more intelligent than you. So when you tell him that, okay, sometimes I'll use coaching. Okay, a lot of time I'm saying that what he has done is too much. Say, for example, he liked criticizing people in front of a lot of people in a big meeting. He likes doing it. Everybody will say that that's wrong, right?
Yep.
How would you criticize people in a big meeting? Okay, but he likes doing it. Okay, so the way that I talk to him is that yes, actually our staff turnover rate is higher. So this is the fact. Actually, it's very high. Then, boss, what do you think would be the cause? Then he said that, I think the market is very good. People like earning more money. Then I just saw that, what else? And he just think a lot of other questions. Then I just saw that, then the other day, we have done a small research, and they talk about the company culture, people like blaming culture, this kind of stuff. What do you think? He said that, I think it's right. When they have done wrong, then I have to blame them because I'm the boss. I said, I see. Then if somehow I do it in a very indirect manner, because I cannot I cannot teach him, but I will ask him in a way that he would admit that he has done this is not right. Then next time he will try not to do it. Then thereafter he'll back to normal. Okay, because this is his character. You cannot let everyone reflect. You can only try your best to do it. If this is the character, there's no way that you can change them. People will only change if they are inspired by someone or they are in a very desperate situation. Okay, but for these people, we try our best, just do it objectively. Okay, this is the way that, what has caused this problem? What role would you play to rectify a situation? And this is a very good reflection questions. But still, if they cannot reflect, their ego is so high that they may think that I don't need to reflect. I'm already very rich. Why? If I don't need to reflect, I'm already very rich. So I'm okay, right? So we just do what is, I think, we just do what right is right for a lot of people. Then why do we have to bother about this small group of people, which you can't change? That would be my personal opinion. You can't make everybody change or reflect. If the ego is very high, not open mind. So as a leader, we need to be open mind, right? If they're not open minded, how can you change it? Even you ask this question, they may not answer it, right? They may not answer this question. They may leave this question to something else.
Correct.
So for us, I always believe that we have done our best. We'll do it professionally, and the other people will see it, and can't make everybody happy. But of course, if your boss is like that person, then you can always make your choice. Yeah, that is very practical. Like coaching, this coaching, it works very well. But of course, if we do it again and again, you can see the result faster, and you'll be very experienced into doing it. But does it work for everyone? I have a question mark. If it works 90% of people, I think it works. But I don't think it works on every person, especially if they have different egos. For my previous boss, you can't change him. Still, 20 years after, you can't change him. His mindset is like this and like this. He will never reflect. Because he just think that I have a lot of money. Everybody has to listen to him.
Okay, got you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so anything else? No, right? So have a very good weekend and also enjoy your Sunday. One more thing, I have assignment for this session. That is to do it, practice it, because practice makes perfect, right? So we practice it, and in your maybe at work or even with your family or whatever on this coaching skills. And then I need to submit it, and I already put the assignment on the shared drive, okay, under I create a folder on module 2, okay? So please do it and then hand it in by the end of November.